Alright guys, in today's video what we're going to be doing is having a discussion about the recently announced PlayStation 5 exclusive Wolverine game that's being developed by Insomniac Games. And what I want to focus the conversation around is specifically why people are so hyped for this title. Why are people so excited? And I think that to some of you listening to this, it may be very obvious why people are excited for this. I mean, it's Wolverine, it's Insomniac Games. What's there not to be excited about? But believe it or not, since the announcement of this game, I have seen quite a few people kind of express that line of thinking, and I think it's completely fair. They bring things up such as, well, you know, all we really saw was a CG trailer so far, and it's anybody's guess what the game's actually going to be like. There are people who maybe just aren't big fans of Wolverine, so it's understand why they wouldn't be that hyped. But then there are also others who are like, look, I want to be excited for it, and I thought Spider-Man was great, but I really have to see what they do with Wolverine before I allow myself to get excited. And I do think that all of these points are completely fair and completely valid. And so this video isn't necessarily an attempt to change your mind if you happen to be somebody who views it that way, but rather just to explain why I guess I am so excited for this game, even though it's many years away from releasing, and just talk about why there's just so much general excitement surrounding, I wouldn't just say Wolverine, but Insomniac Games as a developer in general. So if you could do me a favor, hit the like button to help this video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. And so I'm sure many of you saw the reactions across the internet from people who were streaming the PlayStation Showcase live. When that trailer first came on, people were not entirely sure what they were looking at. When they saw the Insomniac Games logo, they automatically thought to themselves, oh, well, this is Spider-Man. And then you look at the scene, it's in a bar, it's kind of dimly lit, looks like, you know, people got really messed up in this bar. And I think at that point, people were still kind of like, I guess this could be Spider-Man, right? I mean, what else could it be if not Spider-Man? And then as it kind of showed Logan, his back was to the camera, obviously, and they actually never did show his face in this trailer. Some people, like myself, like immediately realized that's Wolverine. Like that's 100% Wolverine. And then it was confirmed and people just lost their minds. And, you know, I've been asked a couple times, is this game going to come out before Spider-Man 2? And I'm going to say definitely not. The reason why I say that is when we got that Spider-Man 2 trailer, not only do I believe it's already been, you know, in development for a little while now, but that trailer gave us a year. It didn't give us a specific release window, but it told us, hey, expect this game in 2023. When it comes to this Wolverine trailer, I think the reason why some people are just not going to get excited about it is because it's pretty clear that this is a game that's going to release probably in 2024, possibly even 2025, although I think 2025 would be, you know, maybe longer than expected, but definitely sometime in 2024. I think that's a reasonable time frame. And the reason why I say this is because Insomniac has made it clear, hey, we are very, very early on in development. And if I'm not mistaken, they have been working on this game for less than a year as of the time of this recording. So with that in mind, they have to do everything from scratch, create a whole new world. You know, it's going to take a long time. I don't think anybody doubts that. And so why I'm so excited is because when I look at Insomniac Games' studio and I see what they did when given the opportunity to work with an IP such as Spider-Man and build a world and make this character their own. When Spider-Man was first revealed, people were incredibly excited, understandably so, because even at that time, seeing one of Sony, well, actually, Insomniac wasn't a first-party studio, but seeing a studio like Insomniac, who's worked very closely with Sony, handling the game and knowing it's an exclusive, people already had this feeling like this is going to be a great game. But there, you know, there was also some trepidation as well, where people were like, I don't know, this is Spider-Man and that's great, but, you know, who knows what could happen? Maybe Insomniac could mess it up. And as we got closer to release, people really started to kind of hone in on this and be like, oh, this is going to be a masterpiece. And then it launched and it just blew people away. It really did. And I can honestly say, even as somebody where I'm always a little bit cautious when it comes to, superhero games. When I played Spider-Man 2018, I was pretty much shocked. Like a lot of other people, I'm like, this isn't just good. This isn't just great. This is phenomenal. And I firmly believe that Spider-Man 2018 is one of the best, if not the best superhero game ever made. Obviously, there's a lot of people who look to the Arkham series, which I think is, totally understandable. And, there's an argument to be made there for sure. But I feel like when you look at that, right, and then you see that Insomniac is now going to be given the opportunity to apply that same type of treatment to a character like Wolverine and, expand it in a very significant way. This is why people are so hyped. It's the pedigree of the studio that's going to be handling Wolverine, Insomniac Games. It's also the pedigree of the publisher, that being Sony. We know that Sony, they care very much about quality, and this is what is instilled in every one of Sony's first-party studios, where quality comes before all else. And there's no doubt in my mind that Insomniac and Sony both understand the importance of getting this game right. And as I said, people were understandably maybe a little bit nervous with Spider-Man because it could go either way. And it went the way that everybody wanted it to, which is they did a fantastic job. They nailed it. So now people feel just that much more confident looking at a game like Wolverine. And even now, I still do see people with, valid concerns. Like, is it going to be a mature game? Is it going to have that darker tone that you would expect with a character like Wolverine? Very different from the tone that you would get from a Spider-Man game. Although I will argue that the Spider-Man game from 2018 and even Miles Morales, they certainly had some mature themes. Granted, I don't know that they were that dark, and you would certainly expect something darker in tone with Wolverine game. But the point is, we've already kind of seen that. And I really do believe that with a game like Wolverine, and this is what really gets me excited, they're going to try to really kind of hone in on that Logan type feeling, right? Like if you go look at 2017's Logan, obviously a lot of people are hoping that maybe Hugh Jackman will somehow be involved in this Wolverine game. That's likely not going to happen, nor do I think it needs to happen, but it's understandable why people would hope for that. But you look at that movie Logan, and I think that a lot of people would agree that that really captured the tone of Wolverine and the character of Logan in a significant way. A lot of people look at that as the best portrayal of the character, in a movie. And I would agree with that. Granted, in that movie, he's obviously older. It's basically old man Logan. And so we're not really going to see that right out of the gate with this. They're probably going to, go through the origin story and all that good stuff. But I just can't help but feel like I have just the utmost confidence in Insomniac and the way they're going to handle this. And knowing that it's been confirmed it's going to be a full-length game, it's going to have a mature tone. I mean, how could you not be excited for it? Again, if you're just somebody who's not into superhero games and you feel like you're just, that's not your cup of tea, or maybe you're just not a fan of Wolverine as a character, I think it's completely understandable why you would have very little to no interest in this. But I just thought it would be worth explaining why people are so excited. They're going to see what is potentially the best Wolverine game ever created. Hence, I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt that this Wolverine game is going to be the best Wolverine game ever made. And I think it could actually maybe be in contention to be one of the best superhero games ever made. Now, I know I'm making some pretty bold statements here because, again, the game is years out, but it just goes to show that there's so much confidence in Insomniac. And I don't mean to say it in a way where I want to put pressure on the studio. Like, I don't expect absolute perfection, right? I do expect there to be some things that come out about the game that maybe, some hardcore fans aren't happy about for one reason or another. I don't expect it to be absolute perfection, but I think that there's just so many ways a superhero game in particular can go wrong that you don't necessarily need it to be perfect. You just need them to get the important things right. And I have no doubt in my mind, as I said, that Insomniac is going to be able to do that. And so it's going to be awesome. I try to imagine what this game is going to be like. Is it going to be open world like Spider-Man? I think that's anybody's guess. I think A better question is, does it need to be open world like Spider-Man? Well, I think that's really up to the developers to decide. I'm sure they're trying to figure all of this stuff out now. That's how early in development this game is, I believe. And so my hope is that when this game is shown off for the first time and we see proper gameplay, it really just kind of lives up to that, that dream Wolverine game that anybody who is a fan of Wolverine, and maybe if you've even played some of these past Wolverine games, that game that we've all kind of imagined in our head. Because that's where I want to end this video. I feel like a lot of people who picked up Spider-Man, whether it be Miles Morales or Spider-Man 2018, and they played it for the first 5 to 10 hours of that game, I just think so many people walked away from it and they're like, this is literally the dream Spider-Man game. Like, this is it. Just like the Batman Arkham games were the dream Batman games. I feel like that's what we got with Spider-Man, and I feel like that's what we're going to get with Wolverine. And it's worth noting, I probably should have said this earlier, Wolverine's one of my favorite characters. I absolutely loved what Hugh Jackman did with the character of Wolverine, and obviously a lot of people look at that as the definitive, iconic version of Wolverine. Some people really love the versions of Wolverine we've seen in the cartoons, and I just think that Insomniac has a huge opportunity here to maybe really do something special with the character of Wolverine, maybe something that's never been done before, and I can't wait to see how it's all going to come together. But that's why I'm so excited for it. That's why I'm so hyped for it. And I think that is a pretty good explanation as to why most people are hyped for it. So at this point, I want you to let me know down in the comments below why you're excited for Wolverine, or maybe why you're not excited for it. I know that most of you are, but if you're somebody who's not, feel free to share some of your concerns or maybe just some of your reasoning as to why not. And if you are very excited for it like I am, let me know why. Let me know what your expectations for the game are. But that does it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Again, if you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.